you. And I did a lot of years of pure mathematics. And in my postdoc, I divided a little bit a bit of my story, like traditional path, like I did the undergraduate studies, the master, PhD, postdoc in mathematics, in pure mathematics. And after that, when I was in the postdoc, somehow I got a crisis about just mathematics. I need something else. And I needed something more social. I always wanted to study pedagogic studies. And in the university in Chile, they didn't have that studies when I entered. Then I chose like a bachelor or undergraduate, the degree in mathematics, just mathematics. But I always wanted the pedagogical studies, but in the middle, I just thought that, oh, mathematics is nice, it's more like than I was thinking in the school. Then I said to me, like, oh, maybe I can try a master, maybe I can try a PhD, maybe I can do a postdoc. And somehow I forgot the pedagogical studies, but in the postdoc, I needed. Yeah, I needed to come back to something more applicable in my life. Because mathematics can be applied, but wasn't the thing in my topic when I was studying. Then I shift to math education. Now I do math education. And in that path, I found myself trying to do some popularization, outreach, dissemination of mathematics, try to do some motivated activities in mathematics, because it seems like in Chile at least, I don't know, maybe Latin America as well, everyone hates mathematics, or many people hate mathematics. Then I was motivated to kind of change that. Then I found myself with a desire to be like a communicator in mathematics, and funny, and not something the typical one, you know? Then I will tell the story in this workshop, and I will invite you to work in something as well, because it's a workshop. I will not be talking the whole time, okay? And always, I like to talk about the hobbies, as Sandy did in the beginning. I think it's important, because all the activities I do, I think have helped to be the communicator I am, the mathematician I am. It's not isolated. Then when I like to sing, I will not sing now. If I'm nervous, then I will not sing. I like to dance, I like the music. I am that person as well. Like in the morning, it's like, which music is this today? Yeah, same. And I really like music, and I was in the chorus, choir. And I was in many choirs in my life. And music and a lot of things. Then I wanted to tell that to begin. And always this talk and this workshop is about sharing what I learned in the Science Communication Diploma and in my PhD and so on. It's not like I'm expert in this, it's as I want to just share. I even not consider myself expert in mathematics, even when I have studied a lot of mathematics. Then it's not my intention. Yeah, it's always sharing is the main focus. Then before of that, I will invite you, if you have internet, it seems like you have, and QR code, that if we can do if you can reply some questions in this. And I want to know what is for you, or how do you relate with science communication, then? What does it mean for you communicate science so far? And what is a good science communication, according to you, in your experience? I will share this one. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Depending as you want, as you consider. Yes, I will repeat the question. Is there written? Can you see? I will present. Everyone is with the code. First, the question will appear. But the questions are, the first one is, what is for you science communication? Yeah, that is the first. Is everyone inside? Or everyone who likes to be inside? Okay, it's different. Yeah, it's different. Is this one. If you cannot scan the code, you can enter to menti.com and press that code also, okay? Then the first question is, what does it mean for you to communicate science? O sea, ¿qué significa? No, I cannot speak Portuguese, then I will try in Spanish. ¿Qué significa para ti comunicar ciencia? Tu ciencia. A lo que tú quieras. Puede ser a niños, a colegas, colleagues, children. What does it mean for you to communicate science? In your experience, okay? Yeah, sharing, democratization. You can enter to the menti.com up there, menti.com, and press the code. Is there. Okay, then inclusion, sharing, democratization, accessibility, happiness, great, share my passion, obrigatum, what is that? Obligation? Okay. Great. Democratizar, transdisciplinariedad, imagination, policy paper, creatividad, desafío, like, how to say, challenge, curiosity, humanity, simplify. Yeah, many things. Do you think the people in Zoom is in the Menti or not, Alba? Not yet. Is Menti, I can write there, .com, and press the code. I can, maybe will, it's a link actually. That one. We can wait a little bit. Okay, then the biggest is democratization. We can talk later what does it mean democratization for you. Okay. Inclusion, accessibility, passion, sharing, love. You think it's something like you like to do, or it's more like it's mandatory than I do? Like communication. ¿Te gusta? Sí. Great. We can make a big group of communication. Someone in here doesn't like it so much to communicate? Outreach? You doesn't like it? Will not. Gracias.
I think it's very, very hard to make scientific knowledge as we do for our peers to be understandable for a large audience that varies with age, with knowledge. So I think it's a very, very hard work. And I think there should be specialized people to do that. Not that someone that makes research can do that, but I think it's a huge effort for you do this in a nice way, in a proper way, so it reaches the person you want to reach. So I think it shouldn't be imposed to everyone. I think we should have people specialized in this. At least that's my view.
Great, great. Non-answer is bad, then it's great. And it's good that you said that, because I think when I started doing it, I thought that the only possibility was sharing what I did in mathematics. Like pure mathematics, how I can explain to people who doesn't know mathematics, my mathematics, you know? But exactly in this talk and the workshop, the idea is to go a bit further and think like maybe we can communicate not only our science, not in the technical way, we can do many things, you know? Then it's good that appear, you know? Because I think it's good to specialize, that is, I agree, and it's good to see another ways to communicate as well, you know? But depending on, of course, your goal and why you want to communicate, of course. Is someone there? I can go, but I start to be like, after like,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's just that I disagree with you, and I think should not be specialized people, but we need to learn how to communicate to everyone, because we do science for society as well, and not just for our peers. And I know that's not easy, but it should be something that we should develop in the university and the labs and everything. And we are trying to do that in our university. And we have a poster if you want to see tomorrow
Great.
how we are doing that.
Great, thank you. Okay. And you will take? Okay.
No,
Thank you.
wave.
Oh, wait, like, okay, passing by, like, yeah. That's great. Great idea. I didn't think so much. Okay. Then if it's good, okay.
I
you
like
want to
very much to communicate, but I guess, I think, and I do, that communication has to be in the two directions. I communicate to you, and you have a feedback for me, and we are communicating in this way. If I just go and talk, this is not communication.
Great.
And
Okay, you are great, actually, here. Because I think somehow this will appear, you know?
And I think communication goes beyond anything that is written. It has to be body language communication too, and for science is important. We cannot forget that any practice of science involves another human, and is human-to-human communication, where technology is just a channel, but there has to be faces, there has to be culture aspects there. And this is something that sometimes we forget. So being a Colombian, it means that salsa could be a connection to science, food could be a connection to science. So there are hobbies and there are passions, and those could connect people. And of course, sometimes they complain this is not pure science, but if you dance salsa and reggaeton and any other rhythm, gravity is important, and all the fundamentals for physics in terms of the torque and the rotation and the angular accelerations are there, but there has to be a story behind to bring the attention of those humans. And the practice of science is a human experience. That's the root of everything for me, at least.
Great.
I just
We
will
are
add a
agree.
very,
We
very small
agree.
thing. The small thing is with the original people. Even with the original people can have Zoom. They don't want to talk with you in this way.
Yeah.
They want you go there, and they want to see your expression, your eyes, and then they will decide if they trust in you and they go ahead or no.
Yeah, I agree. Nice. ¿Sí? Sí. Quizás se puede ir moviendo el micrófono, pero ya, esta vez fue mi impulso. Ahí estamos. Parece que hay sorry, Spanish. Seems like many ideas here.
When I see these words, I think public communication of science is extremely important in all areas. But I keep question whether we need to como a gente fala, profissionalizar, professionalize this work, because it can no longer be just an appendice. It's so more work for research and students.
Yes.
And I think that only institutional policies for these become important for everyone.
Precisely.
Because democratization for who?
Yeah. I said before, like, what does it mean, democratization in this room, you know? Thank you. Someone else? Yeah, I think there are a lot of ideas here that I think in the way that I will direct the talk and the workshop, I think they're we can do dialogues, you know? And I think will be great to have this input for me as well. And yeah, great. Sorry, my English is a bit like...
I also wanted to say that what I do for a living is basically public policy in science and technology. I do the opposite of the work you do here, which is science and technology. In a way, I think I'm a science communicator, because basically I tell people in government why they need science and technology, and they give funds to people who are doing it. But right now I'm feeling kind of in a crisis where I think I don't have anything to offer for people like you, because I think that you could do the work better than I do it. Basically, what I'm saying is, during this workshop, I would like to have a better idea of what I can offer with my expertise and my career to people in science and technology.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think that the interdiscipline or transdiscipline is very important to this, because everyone has expertise in different things. And when you want to create like activities of communication or activities to bring people to, I don't know, to some area, or to learn about the researching or whatever, with passion and everything, I think it's good to have people who has different expertise, you know? Then I think it's always can be like that. And when I did the diploma, I was the only mathematician there, always, almost always. Yeah, here as well, seems like it. And a lot of teachers, a lot of journalists, and journalists who hasn't studied science before, you know, was a diploma, who has to bring them to science. And there a lot was super nice, because a lot of people, designers also, who want to work with science, like someone who's some visualization stuff or drawings in mathematics, on biology, you know, then was really rich, the people in there. Then I think you can learn a lot of things, not in the discipline maybe, sometimes, not technical things, but a lot of things about how to communicate, how works mathematics for everyone, for example, in my case, or science in general. Then I think was really, for me, was like super nice to meet these people, and super rich to make it my background and everything that I knew like a bigger also, and see from different points of view also. Then I think this will be as well, I think. It's another question, because we have a lot of things to say, I think, all of us, which is great. And maybe, oops, something happened. Maybe it's connected. Okay, the other one. And the other thing that you said is democratization was the biggest, right? We can talk what does it mean that, maybe in the group, or maybe if we have to write some ideas, maybe there we can put what does it mean for us. But now I want to know, what do you think is good activity of science communications? Like, what do you think is good for you? Doesn't need to be theoretical good, you know? For example, if you have TikTok or Instagram, or which activities or which post you see more or you like more, or when you go to a conference, which kind of activities you like more about the communication of science? What do you appreciate? It's the same link, but you have to pass, or I have to do something else? Sorry, perdona. Ah. Okay, okay. You have to enter again, right? Pero ellos tienen el link también en el chat. Ah, okay, okay. Sí. Okay, now yes, or? Ya. Describe en una palabra, pueden anotar 3 palabras. ¿Qué es para ti una buena comunicación de la ciencia? Puede ser técnico, puede ser de divulgación, póster, entrevistas, cualquier cosa que usted considere. Like, what is the ingredient that you think make it good? Because some people wrote talks. Maybe you think talks are good to communicate. That is the, yeah, okay. Social media, like the way to communicate. Okay, if you have to, if you can think about some adjective, like, okay, this is like fun, or this is like, I learn a lot. Then I like these kind of activities because I learn. Or, you know, short videos, social media, talks, simple, fun, yeah, workshops, talleres, demonstrations, like experiments, yeah, demonstrations, short videos. You mean like TikTok videos, this kind of like 1 minute videos? That is short, or reels, for example. Huh? Okay, yeah. Okay, consider the same. Yeah. Interactive, policy paper, simple. Okay, because these 2 questions will be important for what? The first one, for the things that I will say now. Yeah? Because somehow, as people say there, like communicate science, outreach, popularization, these kind of activities in the academia looks like is when you have time, if sometimes you don't have anything to do, like, okay, you will be going to these activities. And I, of course, disagree, because I did a diploma, actually, exactly because to professionalize and to valorate this activity, you know, use time to professionalize, to do it better, of course, to know more about the theory. I will share that with you. And the second question, the second thing, like now, is for the workshop, the part that you have to do, you know, to kind of think or clarify what is good for you and what things you will propose if you have to do like a outreach activity. I know that in the posters, many of you have some ideas already done, you know. Maybe you can share that kind of things as well, you know. What do you think, for what, which kind of people you want to reach, etc. That is the thing. You want to say something about the people in Zoom, Alba? Or later?
The previous question, it was open access, but in this one, they include all their comments in the Menti. They already include their comments. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I thought that maybe someone has a comment or something. Okay, thank you. Okay, then, if I go to the presentation again, let's see what things we can say about science communication. Yeah, of course there are many theories. this is more like in what they do in England or Britain. And I really want to thank to my teacher in the diploma, Nelly Paul, because a lot of ideas I learned, of course, in that diploma. Then a lot of ideas that are from here and the teachers there. Okay, then science communication. The thing is, like, if we want to tell our work of research, popularize science, or do some outreach, or go to the school, and etc., somehow we have to do like a bridge between our discipline, science, and society. And as you said, it has to be in both ways, you know? It's not necessarily to be in one way, but that is the most traditional thing, you know? Like we are the experts, the scientists, and we go to tell to people who doesn't know anything how to do the things, you know? The thing here in this talk is to change that, you know, to open and to say, of course, people can do science as well. Then in which way we can listen, we can do science together, and etc. Then the bridge works in two directions. And another thing important is when we say science communication, we mean like a very big concept. It's like including things. Include outreach, include dissemination, include popularization, include alphabetization. It's depending on the goal we have, is what word we will use, okay? But every of these will be science communication, like in a wider way of thinking, you know? That is the thing. And someone said like public understanding of science is included, public awareness of science, science literacy, science culture. Then we will put all of the things in science communication. Depending on the goal and the people, we will say something more particular, yeah? And we want to build, hopefully, a good bridge, not like a broken bridge or something, I don't know, but, you know, like not very well done. For example, in the side, like in the corner, left and down, it's like in Chile. It was really funny, actually, because, well, funny and bad at the same time, because some engineers, and maybe there are some engineers here, they built that bridge in the south of Chile, you know, and the bridge has to be open when the boats pass and close, of course, when the cars has to, you know, but they did wrongly, then the bridge didn't close, you know, then it was like put it in the other side, like they didn't close, then they have to fix after, for some months, and maybe now it's working, but after 2 years or something like that. It was really bad, Then we don't want that. Hopefully we want something like we can cross in both directions, you know, when we do science communication. Okay, then something important that I have learned and I'm convinced now as well is like information is not the only thing like we can do, you know, like give information. For example, this kind of things like, oh, do you know that science is important for blah, blah, blah? You know, this kind of questions, which is nice because, of course, you learn things when that happens, but it's not the only way to communicate science, you know, that's the thing. And information is not equal, like mathematics equation, it's not equal to attitude or behavior. That doesn't mean like people will say, oh, science, I will study science, or I will be more interested in science if you if you give more information, you know? It doesn't need to, it's not an implication. Like if you tell more things, people will like more, you know? Or will understand more, or will be more aware of science, you know? Then it's important to understand like information is one thing, which is great, but we can do many other things. Then actually Alba says many things that we can do, for example, you know, and yeah, many of you as well. Then it's not enough to transfer information, you know, or to want to transfer information. It's one possibility, and actually it's the most traditional, I will say. Like when, as an expert, we go to transfer some knowledge, and I don't think it's actually modern definition of education. It's not like we transfer. We kind of co-create or these kind of things. You know, we talk more in this way than transfer knowledge, you know? But even if we want to do that, it's not the only possibility. That's the thing, you know? What we can say, what we can do, and what we can talk about. For example, Alba said something very important for me that I learned how to do that. It's like, I try to learn how to do it. It's not like I learned and I do now. It's about feelings. It's not written there, but we are people, we are persons, humans, we have feelings, and science is not isolated, and we are isolated there like human, you know, we have feelings. Then we can talk about feelings in science, and I think we have many feelings. Good one, well, I don't know, we cannot judge the feelings. Okay, we can have more positive, more negative, whatever, but we can tell people what is about our career, how I feel when I don't know, decide to study PhD, or how I feel when I demonstrate a theorem, for example. No, I don't know, whatever, feelings. Feelings is important as well in science because we have the feelings and we do the science, you know? Then in that direction, we can talk about the process. What does it mean to do science? You know, science, depending on the moment of the time in the history, is right, or we have some tests that imply, like maybe we can conclude some things, but maybe after some years, we can have another conclusions. It's not like the truth all the time, you know. It's changing. Then if it's changing, why we don't tell about the process? Or we don't tell about the errors? For example, if I have to prove a theorem as a mathematician, sometimes has errors, even involuntary, of course. We want to do it good, you know, but sometimes it's not good. And someone in another side of the world find an error. Or when we teach to the students as well, why we don't talk about the errors? Like some calculation is wrong, but maybe you can learn about the errors as well. And methods, which means like maybe we can talk about creativity as well. Make questions, try to respond that questions, tell stories. You said that as well, Alba. Because science is made by people, interdiscipline, art, other science, culture, etc. Visualization, games, experimentations, etc. You know? Then we have many options. And somehow, traditionally, we always think that, oh, how I will tell about my research, which is, of course, a challenge. I don't think it's easy. It's difficult, I think, in general. But it's not the only possibility. That's the thing, you know? And I think make it personal also with narratives, empathy, dialogue will be actually great because people will think that we are persons. You know, they will notice that we are. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's off.
Okay, now it's okay. I just would like to add that it's very important to talk or to observe or perceive the structure the individuals are in. For instance, if I am a mathematician, but if I'm a Latin American, if I am a woman, if I am European, if I am a man, so if I am indigenous woman, if I'm a black woman, black man, so I think it's because it really makes a difference, and I think
also we have to try to understand the way some groups they perceive or they observe the scientific phenomena. I think it's very important too, because I think it makes a great difference. And I think, well, I come from history of science, and I think, and I learned, which is really, which was really made sense for me, that we have different ways of perceiving a phenomenon, and I think it's really important, because I think it make all the dialogue, all the findings, all the communication different.
Yes, I agree. Actually, one of the things is very important is to know the public. Someone put there, actually, in the replies, you know, to whom I will talk, you know? What is the people who is listening in this room, which kind of work they do, or what they do for life, or what are the hobbies, depending, you know? Then if you know the public, I mean, now, actually, for me, it's very difficult when someone said, like, give a talk about this and this and this. And for me, it's like, okay, wait. Which people will be there, you know? Which age? Women, men. Like, there are, I don't know, in Chile, immigrants. Which kind of people, you know? From which language they talk, actually. They speak good Spanish, or maybe not. Then maybe I'm not the good person to go there, you know? Then I think it's good to, as much you know about the public, then you can give a better talk, or or you can do a better activity, or you can plan better, of course, you know? Then you want to?
I have a question that's really direct and may seem kind of dumb, but I manage the social media platforms for the place that I work, and I've tried like to engage with people, but having a call to action in your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter post is not enough. How do you do, maybe we can cover it later, but how do you engage with people when you have a very small base of people who actually follow your work and make it bigger and make people actually know about what you do, and not just have like 10, 40, 1,000 people to get to know your work?
I will give some examples that I have done that work according to me. I don't know. I mean, yeah. But yeah, we can. I think it's not easy to get that answer. You know, will depend of your goal. What do you want to do exactly? What do you want to get from that? And what do you want to do, or how do you want to? I don't know. I don't know. Help is the word, but yeah. What do you want to reach, or what do you want they to reach with your activity or something? You know, depending on that, and that is very important as well. And okay, I said this before, right? Science is made by people. It's diverse. There are stories to tell. There are women, because I'm a mathematician, you know. Always is like, oh, you are a mathematician, like a woman. Oh, great. Yeah, like, congrats. You know, like, it's very people surprised. And actually, I was telling with someone, with Vilma from Bolivia before, and I was saying, like, people say sometimes, like, you are normal, like normal. And mathematicians, I don't know if I should be happy or not, because I think, you know, like, but at least I look normal, okay, yeah, you know, but yeah. Then some concepts, they are basic, because, okay, science communication is, we can put like an umbrella over the things, you know? Okay, that's what the thing. Other thing is like the public is everyone in the society, you know? But we don't want to talk to everyone in the society. We have to pick people, you know? I want to talk to these people, not to everyone. That's very difficult because everyone means like a diversity of people who likes different things, who has different age, and so on, right? Then the participants are these people, members of the public, who will be related to your activity, or your talk, or your workshop, and so on, okay? But we have to define, when we think about communicate something, we have to define which part of the public we want to reach, you know? Even when we don't want to say like, oh, close the door if someone is not in the public, to say like, no, you're not, no, you know? Because, okay, you can enter if you like, but we have to have in mind what is our goal and which people is the target, you know? But doesn't mean like you will close the door, but you have something planned, you know? That's different. And something is in Chile very typical. Maybe, I don't know if you say that or you have said, I said, of course, before many times, like the general public doesn't exist. It's like, for whom is this talk? For everyone. Like, you know, I mean, it's because you don't want to close the door. That's good. But you can say something else, you know, okay, this is for people in the school, but of course, if the parents want to come, they can come, but it's for them, you know? You can say something more precise, you know? Because when you plan the activity, you have to choose things. Language, for example, if it will be technical or not technical. But not technical means a lot of things. Which kind of words I will use, which media, which I will use, like social media, web page, or paper, or, you know, or I will be, depending on what I want to do, is the people I will pick. It's not like, you know. And that is really like, it's not good in our planification to have that in mind, like the public, general public. It's better to have some group of people in mind, sorry. Okay, and communication will be the practice of producing and negotiating meanings. That Alba actually said, like, between people. And that means, like, we have to talk with someone, we can exchange, you know, knowledge, opinions, interest, and maybe with that, we can create an activity, you know? And it's very good and very important to notice what is about the specific social, cultural, and political conditions of these people we want to talk with. And the term science communication, SciComm, includes all of the things that we talked before, you know? Means like is included awareness, which means like to be more conscious about science, you know? Understanding, which means more like I know maybe the process, I know a little bit more about how that works, you know? Culture, of course that depends on the people as well, and the community we live, and literacy, like more like alphabetization, you know? Then all of the things will be included in the concept, as we said before. And this is very important frame, actually, because when we do things around science communication, we want to have a response from the public. Like someone said there, like, I don't know how to reach more people, or I don't know how to engage these people and comment my post, for example, if I do in like Instagram or, you know. I don't know how to get that. But we want a response. And that response can be, according to this theory, like classify between awareness, enjoyment, interest, opinion, understanding. And depending on what we want to do is what format or what platform or we have to use, you know? Of course, if we want to do something for young people, for example, maybe it would be good to use like social networks. If we want to do something more like, to get more people. Like TikTok, for example, many scientists are doing some things. Some things I like, some things I don't like, but they are doing some things, you know? Or Instagram, or depending. If we want to do with some people like, I don't know, over 70, maybe we will not use social networks. We will do another thing, you know? Then that's the thing. And this is the metaphor, actually, with the vowels. I will say wrongly, actually. I will say in Spanish. A, E, I, O, U, we say in Spanish, okay? It's las vocales. And this is the metaphor. We can have many different goals, not only transfer information or tell information. That is the thing, you know? That is the frame. And actually, you said that as well, the models. The very traditional one is this expert going to tell people who doesn't know anything, you know? And I don't know in your countries, but in Chile, when we say divulgación, which is more like outreach or dissemination, always is more like included that this vertical thing, you know? Like expert in the traditional activities. More like what we do when we do some activities of divulgación or divulgation on these kind of things is go, for example, to a school to tell about some information about mathematics, physics, biology, etc. And experts go to some people who doesn't know. That is a more traditional. But in the modern world, and doing dialogues, exists another model that more like dialogue model, which means like we want to create more horizontal conversations, co-create knowledge. You know, we talk about these things, and people can actually do science. You know, have you listened or have you heard about citizen science? Do you know what it is? No? Never? Okay, because it's not science for citizens. It's not the same. Citizen science is more like how the citizens, the people, is involved in a scientific project. How the people take the data, how the people do science, actually. For example, in Chile, there are a group of people who go to the beaches to study the trash in the beaches. And they kind of follow the route, you know? Where is coming from this trash? I don't know if they will do something afterward, yeah? Okay, make it guilty, these people, or no, I don't know. But they are starting to follow about the chemical residuals and this stuff, you know, and knowing what is the route that they are taking. But people in the community there, in the beaches in Chile, Coquimbo, La Serena, different beaches, they have been working with the schools, teachers, and the communities there, and taking the data. And has a lot of data, of course, because a lot of people is taking the data, you know? And these kind of projects, when people work in science, citizen science, that is the name, you know? Then, for example, that is an example of this dialogue model. And when someone said like something about going to the parliament or talking with some, I don't know, the politicians, for example, of course you are doing communication as well. Even you have a conversation, of course you kind of, sometimes you say like, these people who doesn't know about science, I will tell about the science. But you can create more like a co-creation of policies or some laws according to science, talking together, for example. These kind of things. And that implies an active public. That is the thing, you know? It's not like the public is just listening. It's more like the people is doing something as well to feed the activity or to do something about the activity or to actually do science, which is in the case of the citizen science. Then this is the model. In more like, of course, it's difficult to do that in the practice, but I think it's good at least to reflect how we can do this, you know, if we can do it. And something is very important is like we have these things. I will put it immediately. When we create activities in for science communication, we have to think about this. Which kind of a public we want to talk or want to do the thing, the activity, with which goal we have and in which format we want to do that. This is triad, la triada in español, the triad in English, and it's very important to have to clarify to ourselves what is this, every part of this, you know? And if you have a public like chosen and the goal, the format has to be related with the goal and the public you pick, you know? Then it's very important, and that will be the workshop that we will do after, you know? How you will create an activity to make it in this triad and thinking about the science communication like stories, feelings, and many things, not only information. And the questions, like in the title of the talk or the workshop, were these questions: to whom, what for, how. Then we have in mind these things, you know, to create the activity. And for example, for me, as a mathematician, I did this. How I can create dialogues in mathematics? Because this is a change of paradigm. Because of course, in the expertise and mathematicians, it's like how I will talk about mathematics, very technical, with people if they don't know mathematics. It's like, you know? But maybe we don't need to communicate information only. We can communicate another thing. Then what I did, I picked people who does not like math, which is very easy, actually, and use social networks, okay? Well, social networks actually, no, it's good. No, people who doesn't like mathematics and use social network. That is my public, okay? The format was stories, but they will tell the stories. And the goal was give a space to talk about the reasons of these people to give up on mathematics. That's what I think, you know? Or why you will get some distance from mathematics in some moment in your life. What happened? What is the story, you know? And I did in Instagram, my Instagram, in that moment I was Leslie Jimenez, which is my name. Okay, now I'm not Leslie Jimenez anymore, which is, of course I am Leslie Jimenez, but in Instagram, I am not anymore Leslie Jimenez. I am She the Mathematician. I changed. And I try it because I wanted to see what happened. Then in Spanish, Ella la Matemática. And in that moment, I wasn't Ella la Matemática yet, but still, this is part of the story, my story. And I said, when was the moment you take distance from mathematics? That was the question, and why? And people in the beginning was replying in the post, telling the stories, saying the stuff, like, for example, saying people like, no, my teacher used I went to the blackboard, for example. It's not that well, if you want to tell the story, you can, of course, scan. And I get a lot of stories, actually. Actually, I got like 50 stories or something like that, of people telling why they will, in some moment, take distance of mathematics. And many things that it's not for now, if you want to write, of course, but no, not now. And they tell a lot of stories saying like, when I was in the 3rd grade, my teacher said like, you are not good in math, and I got traumatized, for example, and okay, I forget about it. Or when I was in the high school, the teacher was asking to people to go to the blackboard, and I was in front of the blackboard, and I didn't know how to solve the exercise or the problem. Then when the teacher said like, I want to do a competition between 2 people, and the loser was really loser, and the other one was like, okay, the people who is good in math, but the other one is not. Then these kind of stories appear, you know. Of course, there are appearing a lot of stories about gender as well, like, women say like, the teacher said like, I'm women, then why I will ask so much about math, because I will not be in math, actually, because I'm a woman, you know? This kind of a story. And people say these kind of things, and in summarizing, my teacher says I'm not capable, a feeling of not belonging here. A lot of women said that. I was always bad for them, for mathematics, but never understand them also. Or they were never related to my life as well. Like they were really abstract, then didn't motivate me. And my questions never were welcome as well. Traumatic experiences in the blackboard, actually. And that is actually the both things. They were really, a lot of times in the interview, like it's like a difficulty that appear in mathematics, like someone that you don't understand. Maybe you can tell the stories as well. Something like got a difficulty in mathematics and has fear to ask, or lack of support, or not the space to ask, these kind of things, you know? And the other main reason was the trauma in the blackboard, as I said, you know? Like use as a space of humiliate, or like expose, like someone is like not good in mathematics and these kind of things, you know? In Chile, the people was from Chile, actually, who replied. And the good thing is, like, after they reply, I was posting back the stories, and people was commenting even more, you know? And they were actually, when I post this kind of thing, was like, oh, that happened to me as well. Then getting more and more stories, you know? Like a kind of like a feeding the rest of the stories of people, you know? And in that case, it's nice because actually we can research about the dynamics in the classroom, for example, in the math classes, you know? Then it's important to me now as well because I do the education mathematics. Then it's important to know what we can change, you know? And what time is it? Okay, it's late. Okay, but then I brought some examples. For example, in Chile, we have a museum, which is Interactive Museum of Interactive Museum, I will say that. And it's science, Interactive Museum. And it's like biology, physics, and now they have a room of mathematics. The thing is to make experimentations in mathematics. Then touch the things, experimentate with some concepts, but do with material, you know? Like you can touch and so on. Then, of course, you can do that, and you will create the activities, specifically the activities for some ages, for some ages, for example. Depending on the people, the age, they create this activity, and this activity, and other ages and other activities, depending on the knowledge that they know, the schools, and so on, you know? The gender gap in science, like they talked before, which I think actually is really nice study, has a lot of questions, depending on actually divided by discipline, super nice, and about the experience that they have, women and men, in the career, you know? There's another way, of course, to communicate science, you know? But it's not about the information, it's more about the experiences. Then it's another way to do. And actually, it's in the webpage, all the interview and so on. Then it's nice to see depending on the report. Okay, yeah. And actually that is like this drawing is more like about if it change or not after you have kids, your career, for example. And women say, of course, as I change much more than for men, you know. And if you think about having kids or married and so on, if you are scientist, and how that change, you know, how is the gap between that? And it's very interesting because it's experiences, how you live the career, you know. Okay, this I will not, maybe, if you have time, I can put the video. But this is something that I do in my classes, you know, I teach calculus. You have that courses in your specialties, I think, right? And in calculus, for teachers, for future teachers, I always ask to the students to do some divulgation or outreach work in the end, you know? And in this group, they pick a song, they change the lyrics, and with the lyrics of calculus, you know? And it's this like a reggaeton in Chile, you know? And then it's like, they put like a reggaeton with some songs, lyrics, and so on, okay? Then it's actually very nice. I can just press a little bit. And it's very famous in Chile, but not that much in Latin America, maybe.
Derivada. Definiéndola con sus propiedades. La deriva es la pendiente de la recta A, tangente, el punto A, visualizar, ratata. Solo en funciones continuas se da en un intervalo abierto está.
Ya formar el límite de que cuando tiende a la razón del cambio tú verás, ratata. La diferencia entre f de x y f de a dividido en x menos a.
Derívalo más, derívalo más, derívalo más, derívalo más, derívalo más, derívalo más, derívalo más. Y ahora sus propiedades.
La potencia yo te traje para que el exponente baje, queda con la base con multiplicaje y el exponente que hubo le restamos 1,
le seguimos dando y ahora la constante.
Ella se hace cero, es tan fácil que no te lo creo.
Y ahora viene la del seno,
que nos da coseno, y la derivada del coseno, que es igual a menos seno.
Tiene más propiedades que la derivada, toma, producto, cociente, suma, resta y otras.
Si te da el límite puedo que te la rompan. Ja, si
existe ya tuviste la victoria.
Demuéstralo más, demuéstralo más, demuéstralo más, demuéstralo más, demuéstralo más.
Great, right? Like, when they said we will do this song, I was like, oh, why this song? You know, because I think this is better than the song, you know? For me, at least, of course. Maybe for them, no. But it was super nice in the end. I mean, of course, it's like a dissemination, right? Because it's like about limits, derivatives, and so on. But still it's in a funny way, you know? Then it's like more attractive for young people. I don't know. They got it somehow, you know? Yes, I can share. I can share the link. Yes, it's nice. And it's always they do these kind of things in my courses because I really enjoy and I like that they will be future teachers and they need to communicate the concept in the classroom, of course, but of course they will do scientific stands. They will do some things for dissemination as well, for communication. Then it's nice that they start to practice from the beginning, you know? And we don't have formal courses in science communication. Then it's good that in the courses, in general, they will do practice this, you know? And well, podcasts, of course, you can do discussions, books, and of course in this, well, this is a very nice book about women in science as well, and written by women. This is like Que las matemáticas te acompañan. I don't know if you know that. The girl is like a mathematician. It's very famous in Spain, and actually has a TV program. I want to be like her. And it's nice because the program is like a mathematician go to visit you. You know, and she's talking with musicians and people like in the geography and so on, and kind of relate mathematics with these topics. And she is a writer as well, and Clara Grima is the name of her. And I think the idea is to create networks, groups of working, as well like we are doing now. Like it's very important as well to communicate because we can, of course, fit ourselves or the different expertise can be, of course, rich to create an activity. You know, in these discussions, like a conversatory was like in the context of a funding that some colleagues has. They are mathematicians, but they were working with people in social science as well. And they did like a funding related with gender and mathematics. And they were talking about this in terms of social science also, you know? What is the problematic with this gender in mathematics? What is about mathematics to create this gap also? And actually Silvina was invited to talk in one of these conversatorios, like discussions. Then actually they create like a transdisciplinary funding for researching this. Then it's another way, of course. And, sí. Sí. Es que se ve la barra entonces en esta cuestión. Todo ese rato se ve. Ahí sí. Quizás se podría quitar. ¿Cómo? ¿En? No. Ya sé. Ese. Ah, ok. Gracias. Sí. Ah, ya. And la última cosa, the last thing, this is the book that I wrote with a colleague. Yeah? Both are mathematicians, and it's a way, of course, the books is another way to communicate science. The thing is like we have to pick a public, the goal, and the format. But the format, of course, was a book. Yeah? The format was a book, and the public for us was people in the high school, and can be up, of course, adults and so on, but cannot be children, because the language that we have to we will use is needed some basis, in science and mathematics, actually. The idea of the book, then I will pass the book to let you see, and you can pass, because it's about the great adventure of knowledge, that's the name, a little walk with mathematics in 4 seasons, and has sketch notes that they are visual appointments and text, has drawings and text. Then that is very nice, it's very colorful and so on for people in the high school and even people who feel far away from mathematics as well, to kind of engage again with mathematics. And I did the text, and my colleague, which is mathematician as well, did the drawings, Then the way of her to communicate science is drawing, and for me it was more like talking and do the text, And in 4 seasons, we wanted to kind of share with people what means do mathematics in the research. And for us, it was very important to say it's a cycle, like the 4 seasons, It's a cycle that in some moments you feel like, I don't know, you are all wet, in the street, like some car pass and, I don't know, water you, I don't know how to say that, and like it seems like it's not a way to get out of this point, and it's very uncomfortable. But that happens sometimes as well. In the winter, for example, it's very cold, and in Chile, I don't know in Brazil, but in Chile it's very cold. And I really like winter, actually. For me, it's very like, fresh air, but still can be uncomfortable if you are wet in the street, you are cold, and so on. But without the winter, and without these moments in the creation process, it's not coming the spring, Then we wanted to make it in that way, like it's a process, it's creativity. That means like the metaphor of seasons is nice for mathematicians because it's always the same. I mean, you solve a problem, and the next problem, you don't know how to solve it. Then it's the same. To try to solve, try the things, make mistakes, try another thing, talk with people, another colleague, And like again and again and again. And summer is more like when we go out, tell people to communicate our theorem or results and so on. That is kind of the metaphor. And we wanted to put there the inclusive language, talking about the women in mathematics, talking about, like in Spanish it's easier to say because in English it doesn't exist, but nosotras. Always we talk in the book, we write in terms of what we think or what is our opinion. In Spanish, we could call nosotras, like we have a gender, Then we use a lot of this term or a lot of like neutral, like persons, We use like a language inclusive. And try to, of course, saying like we are not the best mathematician in the world. We don't care about being the best. And when we were kids in Chile, it's always like, whatever you pick, you have to be the best. I don't know if you have that sentence in, okay. Then for us, it's like, okay, put it in the trash. Because whatever you want to do with passion, with feelings, you want to do because you like it, not because you want to do the best. Then that is the idea of the book. And when we write it and with drawing, like my colleague did the drawings, we have to adapt the language, the stories, the examples, In that case, not the platforms, because we have the book, but in general, when we have to create a science communication activity, we have to pick that and adapt if it's necessary for our public. And the support has to be in some certain way. The PPT has to be in some certain way made, you know. And it's adaptation. I will say like it's more adaptation of depending on the context and the public and so on, instead of I will go put it down, the science. I don't know if you have said that. In Spanish we say like, vamos a bajar, lo vamos a hacer más simple. We will make it simpler for people who doesn't know, you know. But if we change the paradigm, we want to change the context and adapt the context, adapt the science to the context. It's not like I will not make it simpler, you know, necessarily like that. And that is the Ella la Matemática. That is she, the mathematician Instagram account. Almost 6,000, which is nice. Not yet, but yeah. And what time is it? And I think even if you have 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think it's nice that your turn will be like this, and maybe we can discuss tomorrow if you like, I don't know. Like, or use the Padlet. I have a Padlet that when you can write down ideas, and I can comment as well. Then we can use that. And your turn is the following. I will do that. They are saying here, like with some lyrics, samba or salsa or reggaeton, whatever, with some dissemination information or whatever, you can do that as well. This is the Padlet. How can I share the Padlet? Okay, I did here, right? This is the code. And the link, I don't know why I wrote this, because it doesn't work. It's a joke. A joke, you can create a joke, but the idea, I'm not using. The idea is your turn. Then you have to think about the triad, you know, which public, which goal, and which format you have used, maybe you have done, or you will use to create an activity in science communication. To do what, you know? That is the challenge. You are looking at me like, like, now is my turn. Sí, espérense. Acá está. Essentially, I'm asking for you to create a triad. Oh. ¿Cuáles los tres? Ok. Ya, eso era. Ya. Public, the objective or goal, and the format. You see that, right? Okay. I can put the PPT afterwards. Then, which part of the public you want to reach? Which goal you have? And in which format you will reach, you know? Then, to whom, for what, how? Which separate line? You are commenting. No, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I haven't said so much yet, but you can, instead of doing this, because you are commenting my thing, you can go to the plus here and you create your own idea, you know? Thank you, Silvina. Thank you. Yes, you put your name, country if you want, I mean something, university, I don't know, and your idea, you know? I put that as an example, like the triad that I set in the PPT and on the talk. And you can create your own, saying like, for example, I don't know. Well, they call scientific of the trash. These people who has the citizen science, they call themselves scientific of the trash. Then you can put like, okay, I will put this title, for example, to my activity. And in the text, you can write down which public you want to reach, the goal, and in which format, you know? Is clear now, or? Aquí, en la más. ¿Es claro? En español, quizás. Ahí hay un más donde pueden agregar sus actividades y después, bueno, todos van a ver las actividades, pero yo les puedo comentar y les puedo decir, pero piensa en esto, think about this instead of this, or maybe this format is not, maybe not that good because, this research said this, for example. I can make a feedback for this. And we have 10 minutes to do this. If you want to do that in the night as well, after the dinner, I don't know, you can do that. And I can, of course, do the feedback as well. But you can start now, and you can finish when you want. You can write to me. And actually, I use an article, very good, to do this talk. And they, of course, share in the diploma I did. I can pass the article as well, because I think it will be nice maybe to give to Elisa or someone to send by email to everyone. Or in the WhatsApp I can do that. In the WhatsApp I can pass, yeah. And the video and the songs. El libro, the book is not free. Now they are selling online in every place in the world, actually. You can order in Busca Libre. El link, yeah. Sí. And the book is going there around, I don't know where. It's there, yeah. It's in Chile, in the bookstores, but I know that it's possible to buy in Busca Libre. I don't know if you have buy there, but it's trustable, it's nice. I don't know how much it is to send to another country, but it's in ebook as well, and that is cheaper. Okay. Then maybe I can just don't put this, or maybe take off that if you don't want that appear there with your idea, I don't know. I can put the reggaeton instead. Busca Libre. I can send the cover as well in WhatsApp. Okay, it's clear, right? The idea that you have to write down? Yeah? Okay. Is someone who doesn't get it yet? I can go. Girls there? You know what to do? Okay. I don't know what to do now. In the meantime, do something. No, not now. I don't think we have time now. No, I think it's better that they work a little bit and I can comment, because otherwise it's difficult to... Quiero que se comuniquen, pero después de hacer esa tarea. Yeah. First the thing, after the no. Okay, but thank you for listening. Anyhow, okay, I can close it in 5 minutes. Oh. ¿Sí?
Lo que siento que pasa, estoy Argentina, Buenos Aires, ¿no? Y sigo desde chica muchos tipo divulgadores en ciencia. De hecho, por eso estoy acá en general, como en ciencia en general. Pero sí noté que mucha gente por ahí se dedicaba a estos temas, investigadoras que hacían posgrados en divulgación de la ciencia. Sí. Y después de muchos años, de muchos libros publicados, sentían que su trabajo no era valorado. No sé si conoces a Valeria Edelstein o Margarita Edelstein.
Ah, ya la he escuchado.
Ella es muy famosa, es la principal en Argentina. Y hace este año creo que publicó en los primeros 2 CERs sociales que estaba renunciando a toda la divulgación. Mucha gente le respondió por qué y ella poco contó, pero que no es valorado su trabajo por CONICET, por los organismos institucionales, y se cansó de ir como en contra y me chocó ahí que para mí es como
claro, ídolo.
la líder. Y muchas veces siento eso, que hay gente que por ahí le pone 2 o 3 años energía de su vida, de voluntariado, que por ahí no tiene familia, incluso ocasiones, y después ahí muere mucho, como que depende nuevamente de 1 o 2 personas que tengan tiempo.
Sí, lo que pasa es que, como decían varias acá, la divulgación y la comunicación, no sé si decirlo así para distraer o no sé si... La comunicación, la divulgación, no se valora en la academia realmente. No, o sea, la gente que se dedica solo a eso gana muy poco dinero, además. O sea, por ejemplo, un periodista de ciencias, que si trabaja en la tele puede ganar dinero, pero si no trabaja en la televisión, no gana dinero. Entonces, ganas muy poco dinero y cuando tú estás en la academia y haces divulgación, eso cuenta en tu calificación, cuenta 2% del tiempo, 3% del tiempo. Es como si das una charla en un colegio, listo, estás con un check, ¿me entiendes? Entonces, realmente es como no hay una motivación para hacerlo, para la calificación de la academia. Lo que más se califica es que tú tengas artículos de investigación. Y eso es lo único que importara de alguna manera. Y todas estas actividades que son para relacionarse con la sociedad, para vincularse, no cuentan nada, literalmente. O sea, hay mucha fama, como que la gente igual dice, oh, qué bueno que lo hagas, pero que es como tu hobby, ¿me entiendes? Es como, bien. Es como, qué bueno que lo hagas. Exacto, qué buen hobby, pero no te vamos a pagar, no vamos a contártelo en la calificación, muy poquito de lo que haces, ¿me entiendes? No se toma como una profesión seria, ¿sí?
Segundo comentario que ahora me acordé, no sé si es más interesante, mi pregunta, cuando hablas de esta manera de artificial outreach, hoy hice mucho de eso y
sí.
está buenísimo.
Sí, claro que es como, wow, great.
Pero la verdad es que el problema sistemático es mucho más grande.
Exacto.
Por ahí lo que decías de la triada como de industria, personas.
Claro, que es un diálogo más que...
Mi sensación, o lo que yo vengo más últimamente tengo mentores en Open Science, como ciencia abierta, y el problema que ahí escucho de gente más grande, que el problema que hay es que por ahí en Europa o en Estados Unidos hay mucha gente que puede con su tiempo libre dedicarse a hacer algo más en comunidad. El tema es que si yo voy a Buenos Aires y le pido a la gente que dedique 3 horas a la semana, me van a pedir algo a cambio. No tengo nada para ofrecer, no es amoralarte a la ciencia, no vivo de eso. Entonces siento que esos modelos de ciencia...
Sí, solo que hablábamos para no distraer al resto que está escribiendo. Pero... tiene la gente en Zoom. Ya, ok.
No, mi pregunta era como, siento que ese modelo de ciencia es buenísimo, pero funciona en Europa, ¿funciona en Latinoamérica también ese modelo más moderno de divulgación de ciencia?
No todavía.
Claro,
pero eso no quiere decir que no vaya a funcionar. Claro, eso es mi fe. ¿Me entiendes? Para la gente del Zoom, for people in the Zoom and for people, yeah, maybe. I don't know if you are writing still, but we were talking here to don't distract you for the writing, okay? But how is your name? Velu. Belu was talking to me about this, this professionalization of this communication of science is needed, and of course needed as well, not only because to professionalize only, is because to valorate in the academia, because it's not possible to, I mean, in the universities, the percentage of the valoration of this activity is very low, very, very low, and it's for free as well. It's like a hobby, you know? People who do this is a hobby. People with hobbies, you know, has time to do this, not money involved. It's because it's amor al arte, we say in Espanol. Like, I don't know how to translate that, but it's more like for free. We do that like because we have the teacher like of this science, and we have to do that for free, no payment, no time, no valoration, or just little, you know? Then that is one problem. And someone very famous in Argentina, a woman, right? She was dedicating a lot of time to do this, but some months ago, she said like she will be retired of the dissemination on communication of science. And many people was posting comments like, oh no, why you will, I mean, get away, I don't know how to say that. Give up on this. And like people didn't understand why. I mean, she's very famous, she's doing a lot of things. And yeah, it's because it's not valorated, you know? And a lot of things, like if she's doing a lot of things in communication, probably she used a lot of time to do that and not for publications, for example. Or maybe, I don't know how she managed the time. But I think that is an issue as well, how to do that, the papers and these activities. And everything has to be in the same career. And at least in Chile, in our university, in the University of Chile, I think it's 2% needed, 3%. And in the new qualifications, it's 5% of the time that we have to do these things, you know? But if you want to vinculate yourself or the faculty or the department or mathematics or science with the people, you have to think about it. It's not just doing the same all the time, you know? Then, of course, that means you need time to reflect, to think about it, to plan, to money for doing these things. And it's always like, no money, you know? But, okay, yes. And thank you for coming. If you have questions, of course, I will be here the 3 days, and we can talk about it. And I can reply the things you wrote and comment, and we can talk more. Then thank you.